Joe, how old are you?
20.
20. Okay, great. So when did you start buying stocks and what got you into stocks at that age? Because even, my dad was into stocks at that age, but I really wasn't buying them and stuff like that. I really wasn't, I was just focused on basketball, focused on different things. Mm-hmm. It's a different world out there where kids are involved in politics. They're involved in investing. But how did you talk to your friends? I mean, what made you get involved with this?
Right. So I probably started investing probably last year. Mm-hmm. Mostly, I had, from high school jobs, just put money in like an E-Trade account. Let it sit. Really, when I started really kind of learning about trading, kind of options, was when I first came down here, a couple months ago. And then I really just kind of started watching YouTube videos, watching other YouTubers. And it just seemed like kind of, I think I can get the hang of. I just took it from there.
So that's where, so I was going to ask that, like, where do you find your data from? Where did you learn about this? So it's basically through like YouTube videos, and because the YouTube community is massive among young people, right? I mean, we're just entering that market, and we're seeing more and more people because all we do is videos on our Curzio Research YouTube page.
Exactly.
And I get advice from you and someone else, Erica, who's actually in the room now. She listens to our podcasts, and she does great, and like a social media girl, and she does, but I'm getting advice from younger kids on how could we expand our audience because they think differently than we do as adults, especially when it comes to social media and stuff. So, but just, do you know one of the people could you name one of the people that you listen to?
So on YouTube, I mean, besides Curzio Research, probably the channel Zip Trader. He's great.
How many followers does he have?
I believe he has 300K.
300,000.
I have to double check, but somewhere around there.
How old is he? Do you know? He's been doing it for a long time. Is he a young guy?
Yeah, he's a young guy. He's probably, if I had to guess, probably mid-20s.
Mid-20s. What do we have? Like, Erica, how many subscribers do we have to our YouTube channel? Like just over 3,000. This guy has 300,000. That's how big. And it's just one of many, right? Some of these guys have millions of people listening to them, which is amazing. And they're just posting on their own channels, basically. Yep. And you really started trading options, right? I mean, you're really into options when I talk to you. Talk about some of your option trades. What was one of your biggest winners? So
the biggest winner was most likely AMD, where I bought it right when, it was a couple months ago when I first got down here. I brought in... I spent probably $1,000 on the option. I brought in like $3,000 on it. Mm-hmm. That was one of the biggest winners. But the biggest loser was LI Auto. That I spent $3,500 on that option. Mm-hmm. Lost the entire thing. So it's pretty risky, and it's not the best thing to do. But that's the price for learning.
Well, so you have. How long are you buying calls? Is that what you're doing? You're buying calls.
Yep.
So you're just buying calls, and how far out do you look?
So usually for me, I'm looking mostly around 2 months in advance.
Okay. And you bought Tesla calls as well, right?
So recently I bought Tesla right before it was added to the S&P 500.
Just a couple weeks ago.
Yep. Anticipating that it was a jump huge on that day. So a few days beforehand, it went up like $40. I had a pretty good return on it, and right when it was added, it went down like $50 that day.
Monday, I think it was. I remember because over the weekend, you said, "What do you think? You think Tesla's going higher tomorrow?" And I said, "You really want me to tell you where a stock's going to go?"
I know, but but I was looking for information, and next thing you know, that day it dropped like $50, and I pulled out like up $400. Mm-hmm. But the problem was now, if you look at it now, my expiration date was January 7th on it. I would have made a killing.
You would have made a killing.
I made a killing. Even if I ever,
absolutely.
If I exercise it, yeah.
But looking at that is kind of scary to me because it's not even that. Hey, when you're young, I say this when this is going to be fun. I'm going to get emails on this, but it's true. So I always laugh when you hear about a young sports athlete in his early 20s, and they get married right away, and then they find out that he cheated on his wife. He's crazy, and they get. I mean. It's kind of par for the course a lot of times, you know what I mean? And I think as guys mature, because we're still not mature in our 20s, as we mature, we think about the consequences of what we're going to... So, but at a young age, instead of, I think, were you thinking more about, wow, I did great on this trade, or, well, I made a little bit of money in this trade, or were you thinking more about, holy shit, if I held this thing, I'd be a millionaire kind of thing?
In the moment, I was thinking like, well, like, I'm glad I made money on it. Now, I mean, for me to be mad, like, it's not going to get anywhere. It's over. I'm just happy that I got to look back and say, okay, I was right. If I held it out, this is where I'd be, but it's going to happen again sometime in the future.
How did you, Tesla, I mean, Tesla might be a bad example because you find, everybody's talking about Tesla.
Yeah, everything's...
how do you find your ideas? I mean, are you getting your ideas from them? Are you learning how to trade from them? Or are you actually getting your ideas?
Stocks, trading ideas.
So this one person's giving you, multiple
multiple
his whole
people,
audience ideas.
Yes, he's the biggest one.
So he's giving everyone ideas at the same time, and everyone's just basically. And what happens when he's wrong? Does he come on and say, "Hey, this is what we're wrong with"?
Nope. It's just you can't
Never,
be right. Never. You can't be right every pick.
Yeah.
But you can be out of 10 picks, you'll probably give say 7 right.
Now, why options opposed to just because if you bought Tesla, you'd probably be doing amazing. But again, options. But why options? Because options are so difficult because you could be writing a thesis, but your time could be wrong.
Yes.
If you're wrong, you're going to get destroyed and you lose everything.
Exactly.
Right. It's like all or none, which is extremely risky. That's okay, but you're just playing against guys with algorithms, 5G that are doing 3 million trades per every quarter second, whatever. Why options and why not buy some of this stock?
I mean, I do buy stock. I usually just buy options because, it's 100 shares a contract. Mm-hmm. So it's, if you hit your mark, it's a lot of money involved. And I'm trying to build a portfolio where, at least I can get like 20 grand in there from options. And then I'll actually invest that money into stocks that I like. And then from there, we'll grow that way.
Okay. Now, what was one of your worst trades? Because one of them just came up the way you lost a lot, right? Which one was that one?
That was LA Auto.
What is that stock?
That's an EV company. So it's in the same areas, NIO, Tesla, XPeng.
But it's China-based and didn't get delisted or something?
Yes.
And the stock crashed, right?
So the government was going to delist the company. Same with NIO and XPeng, and they all dropped. That's what my option was, and I just held it out.
How much did you have into it?
$3,500.
And how much does that represent of your total portfolio?
That was, at the time, that was 35% of my portfolio.
So 35% of your portfolio wiped out like nothing, really quick.
Gone.
Okay. And you're not wrong, you're not right. I mean, this is part of the building process as you learn. But for me, as someone who loves you, my nephew, it's I want to teach you, but I don't think I could teach you right now because right now, the younger generation is smarter than us buying this stuff, which there's no manager out there that's really going to buy Tesla at 400, 500. It's at 800. When you see Peloton break 75, 80, that goes to 140. Just when we look at valuation, for example, do you, you're looking at trading. Do you know what a market cap is?
Yep.
Okay. Do you look at the market cap and how much it could double and stuff? You're looking at fundamentals and stuff. So why did you buy, what was it? The auto company. Why did you buy that one?
Well, it looked, at the time it had a lot of momentum behind it because with the group of stocks with NIO and everything, they were having they're coming out with new batteries and everything. And LA Auto just seems pretty appetizing to me. So I was like, you know what? I'll put it in. Not knowing the government was going to delist it, because if it didn't delist it, it probably would hit my mark. I had a $4 call on it right when it was at $33, and they just dropped all the way down. It kept going to 30, 29, 28, and stayed around there. Yeah, and then time decay killed it.
So traders, sometimes it doesn't matter about fundamentals, doesn't matter market cap, doesn't matter about anything. But it matters about trading patterns. But this is just an idea that you heard from somebody, basically.
I was really into investing, and then all of a sudden, kind of just got into trading. And I mean, you could trade stocks and buy shares, scalping, really quickly, beginning of the day, buy 100 shares of a company. If it goes up $5, pull out. But options, I just liked better because there's a lot more money. But I'm not really in it kind of right now for the money. I'm just kind of trying to learn everything one step at a time, really learn everything with the markets. And then from there, I'll really kind of dive into something specific.
And just there's not a great investor out there that hasn't gotten crushed and lost money. As a kid, I mean, that's how you build, right? That's how you learn. Those are learning experience. You can't have a model portfolio and say, no, you have to have stake in it where the feelings, where you're like, holy shit. When you have that, that's the learning experience. Because now you're looking at it now you ask yourself, what if? Right. You love this thing because it really doesn't matter if the company makes batteries or anything. How long is it? A month, 2 months, 3 months, right? Yep. I mean, it's not, you got to hope something happens within that 3 months. We're in a bull market. Everything's going higher. 95% of the companies are above their 200-day moving average. But at the end of the day, where do you see this going to the point where, do you feel like there's a correction coming? Do you feel like this collapse? Do you feel that a little bit? Do you get nervous at all? You're just wow, this is like Dave Portnoy says, he's like, this is easy. I mean, this stuff's a joke. And he's right. He's like, I really don't know about it. Just buy these stocks and I'm up $1 million, $2 million. And it's true. He's saying that. And you're like, you can't really get pissed off at him because he's right. And it makes, guys like us have been doing this all this. I'm like, whoa, really? And I had calls on Tesla, or I had calls on Peloton, or I had calls on Zoom. Well, Zoom's down 45% from its highs, but it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Now, what platform do you use? I
actually switched from Power E-Trade to Thinkorswim, which is TD Ameritrade.
And why'd you switch for?
Because Power E-Trade is 15 minutes off. And in order to get real time, you'd have to pay another $130 a month. I was like, you know what? I'll just switch, have real time. So at least if I'm looking at stocks or looking to place a trade, which, I don't place a trade every day. It's maybe once a week. But at least, the numbers are actually accurate instead of 15 minutes off.
Makes sense. What about Robinhood? Have you been on that platform?
Nope, not yet. I don't know. I'm not really like a big like fan of Robinhood yet. I'm not on the bandwagon yet.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people. Even my wife opened up an account. My wife opened up. Listen to this story. It's great. My wife opened up an account. She said, I want to trade a couple of stocks. Her friends. This is like 6 months ago, and she didn't put a lot of money into it. But when she did that, she signed up on Robinhood, and she's like, hey, and she bought like a couple of stocks, and then she's like, they gave me a share of one stock for free. You know what stock that was?
Which stock?
Plug Power.
You know where it's at now?
They gave her one share at 6 and it's 71.
Yeah, I was going to say, today it's got to be.
Me, I'm like, honey, if you put everything in it, we wouldn't have to work anymore. Don't get me wrong. I do this forever. I love it. It's not even a job to me. But it was just funny where, that's how the market is, where could we learn something from that as being, because it's amazing how many people turn their back on Bitcoin, Joe, who said, this is bullshit. All these, Jamie Dimon said it was a fraud. Warren Buffett these guys are destroying
because it's going to hurt their portfolio,
and they're all reversing costs because now they're like, wait a minute, now we kind of understand this a little bit, and you get lost in those opportunities sometimes when you're just setting your goals and you're like, wow, this can't happen, this can't be sustained. But just hearing because what I'm hearing from you, Joe, is pretty much, this is the young traders, this is what they're doing, even on the Robinhoods or whatever platform you're using. Yeah, I think there's a lot to be learned on both sides, but going through this process for you, you have your end goal, and I think that was to make a certain amount of money, and then you're going to buy regular stocks. You think you could turn it off, like stop buying options one day?
Definitely not. I'll keep doing it, but just getting a decent amount of money in the account, just really trying to invest and just let it grow. But yeah, at the start, I love option trading. It's definitely something I'm going to keep doing.
I mean, you think about how you're setting up mentally, right? So if you bought Tesla and you bought calls on it and you put a couple $1,000s in it and it's worth $50,000 now, I would think it's impossible for you to change to where you're like, okay, I'm going to buy, AT&T and just hold forever. Well, no way, right? That ain't going to happen, right?
Well, it depends. But I would do that personally. If I had, say 50 grand came into my account, I would probably have 25K for option trading, then invest the other 25K, the actual invest.
Fair enough.
That's what I would do. I would split it up, and I would just I wouldn't even take any money out. I would grow it all the way to 200K over years.
I know you're living down here. Joe's running my stores, doing a great job running my stores, the phone stores, business I own, which I'm hands off, guys, but it's fantastic, amazing business. But do you have a lot of friends that are trading? You talk to other people that are trading?
I know on YouTube, I am in a Discord group off YouTube, so it's 5,000 people talking about all their day trading stocks and everything, and I'm just kind of go on every morning.
Is it like a pump and dump? Like, oh, you got to buy this stock before it's too late, or it's like, hey guys, this stock looks good, it's breaking out.
It was hey, with Plug, that was one of the stocks I was mentioned weeks ago, and I did not even catch it. I was like, I don't even know what it is. I'm not going to take part of it, and at the time it was $40. Look where it is now.
Just a buying that goes into once it's a decision, like 3D. I don't know if you had DDD. The stock was 11, and it's all of a sudden it had decent news. Should have been up 20%. It went up 130% one day, and now it's 25, 26, whatever it is.
That's what it's
just a week. This is just a week. So it's for when I see stuff like this, I'm looking at, I'm going holy cow! It's just